Hi, I'm Mara Marie Christiani, the Aerialist Chef. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious and versatile vanilla bean pound cake. Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is set your oven to 350 degrees to preheat. The next thing we're going to do is dry ingredients, but before we do that, I do want to explain one thing. I'm going to use a Bundt cake for this pan for this episode. Now this recipe is so versatile because you can make birthday cakes, anniversary cakes, wedding cakes. I've done everything from a sheet pan to cupcakes. And if you're using a non-stick Bundt, you don't want to spray it until right before the batter goes in. Now, if you're doing a cake pan, 9-inch round, I'll do 2 9-inch rounds or a square one, then you'll want to spray it and put parchment paper, okay? That's the difference. So I won't be preparing this pan, but normally when you set your oven, you also prepare your pans. All right, let's go on to the dry ingredients. I have a fine mesh strainer that I love for sifting. And I'm using all-purpose flour today because pound cake is a very sturdy cake and it needs that extra structure that you get from all-purpose flour that will help hold up this cake. A lot of cakes call for cake flour, which is a little bit softer, less protein, but it also gives you that light airiness, and I don't really want this because it's a pound cake. It's a bold, versatile cake. Why am I sifting? Because this is going to make sure, A, that there are no lumps in my flour, which there are if I don't, and also it aerates the batter. So it's also going to help with the structure of your finished product. Alrighty. Now to this, because I do want to help again to hold its structures, I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch. If you don't have cornstarch, just replace the amount of cornstarch with the all-purpose flour. It just will be slightly different. But it's not a reason to not make this. And do make sure that you definitely sift your cornstarch. It tends to clump worse than flour. And then I'm going to add the baking soda and the salt. I'm using pink Himalayan sea salt. I love sea salts. I never use iodized salt. Just make sure it's fine and not coarse. All right, so that's all the dry ingredients. They're ready to go. If you don't have a sifter or a strainer, just take a wire whisk and just whisk it together, and that'll help aerate. It won't be as good as straining it, but it's better than nothing. We're ready to start creaming the butter and the sugar. So I'm using white sugar. And you notice I have butter. Now all the ingredients should be at room temperature. So you can even leave your butter out the night before and make sure that it's room temperature, or first thing in the morning if you're going to bake later. It's just easier. It'll come together better. Now if you forgot, go ahead and make it. It's not the end of the world. All right. I'm going to let you notice I have the paddle attachment, and I absolutely love this rubber gasket that I bought as an attachment to my KitchenAid. If you want a great food processor, you get Cuisinart. You want a great KitchenAid, you get a mixer, you get a KitchenAid. I have 2 KitchenAid aids, and I've got one that's 30 years old and I still use it. So it actually works better than any mixer I've ever used, and I've used many, many different mixers. Even at work, I have an industrial KitchenAid. So if you would like the information on how to get one of these, I'll have the information down for you in the comment section. All right, I'm going to lock it in place so it doesn't jump off my counter, and start it on stir. I want it on the lowest setting. 1, because I don't want to wear the sugar, and 2 is I want to slowly incorporate the butter. I'm cutting the butter into the sugar. And everything about cake is structure, and every step that you take is going to increase the chances of the structure being the way you want it to be if you do it the right way. All right, as soon as I see that it's pretty much coming together and I don't see just sugar sitting around, I'll go to the next setting, and that will start what's called creaming, which is just what it sounds like. You're going to turn it to where it looks like cream. It's moving around. A KitchenAid is so powerful that it doesn't have any problem blending the ingredients. Sometimes a cheaper mixer will struggle a little bit and you might have to put a higher speed to get it going. What you really want to do is take about 3 minutes to make sure that it's incorporated. Okay, I can see that the butter and the sugar are together really nice and well now, and they've lightened in texture. So I'm going to start adding the eggs one at a time. These are whole eggs at room temperature. And after every egg, I'm going to look and make sure that one egg is incorporated before I add the next one. Now, if 2 of them accidentally fall in together, you just keep going. Don't tell anybody. And you'll see it'll get lighter and lighter, and it will loosen up and start to look like a batter. That's perfect. And when you're making a batter, sometimes you get to this point and your mixture will look a little curdled. That's actually the way it's supposed to be. It's once we get all of it together that it should smooth out and look like a beautiful batter. And remember, this is a pound cake, so it's a very hearty batter. It's going to be a very thick batter when we're done. Now, I'm making vanilla bean today, but you can add lemon zest. You can add lemon, orange, and lime zest. Do a triple threat of citrus. Is absolutely fabulous. I like to play with spices. I'll put green cardamom, cinnamon, fresh nutmeg. There's a lot of things you can. That's why it's so versatile. All right, now I can see that it's come together. I'll go back to stir, and I'm going to add my room temperature sour cream. If you don't have sour cream, you can use Greek yogurt. You can even, in a pinch, use a flavored Greek yogurt as long as it goes with a flavor profile. For instance, if I'm doing a lemon zest, I could do raspberry, I could do orange. Almost anything goes with lemon, but that's perfect. And then, of course, a healthy dose of vanilla. And you can see it's a perfect batter now. All we need is to start adding our dry ingredients. Make sure that you're on the slowest setting, and you've already pre-sifted your dry ingredients. Now, some of that flour is going to get kicked out and go all over the place, but that's the fun part, is making a mess, right? And I'll just keep adding it. I give it a chance for that blade to come around and pull the flour in before I add too much more. This is where, when you do it over and over, you get better and better at it, because you don't want to overmix a batter, you don't want to undermix a batter, and everybody thinks, oh, it's so hard. It just comes from practice. There we go. All the flour is incorporated, and I will wait until I see just a little bit of flour left, and then I'm stopping, because like all cakes that I make, I want to finish the process by hand so that I can feel how thick the batter is, how well mixed it is. And not only that, sometimes no matter how good your mixer or your blade is, there'll be a little bit of flour left on the bottom, or egg that didn't get stirred in. And when you do it by hand, you're going to actually be able to see and feel that it's perfectly emulsified. All right. Now stir. I'm going to go down through and turn it over. That's called folding it in. And I'll scrape any flour that I see on the side and make sure it's incorporated. And you see that it's a very thick batter. It's a pound cake. There's nothing light about this gal. All right. Perfect. Now I'm done. Also, mixing it by hand also ensures you probably won't overmix it with that powerful mixer. If I kept going, it might overmix the batter. All right, the next thing we're going to do is put it in our pan. Now, I told you I'm doing this one in a Bundt pan, a 12 cup or more Bundt pan. And I will actually lightly, even though this is non-stick, Don't believe them. Save yourself heartache and go ahead and spray your pan. Don't be shy with the spray. You want to make sure you get the stem all the way around and then immediately get your batter in the pan. I'll turn it a little bit. I've done several wedding cakes. This pairs nicely with fruit. And any kind of frosting you want to throw at it, it'll take it. Cream cheese is wonderful. Any kind of buttercream. You can do a white chocolate ganache or a dark chocolate ganache. Like I said, I would do an orange zest and a dark chocolate ganache would be absolutely wonderful. All right, I don't want to miss any of this wonderful batter. And that's it. Now, like any cake, whether it's square or round, it doesn't matter. You still want to take it and you want to push that batter all the way to the edge, smooth it out. Make sure around the stem. I want to make it as even as possible. And by pushing it up against the side of the pan, I ensure that it's going to bake evenly and you won't get that peak that you sometimes get in a cake or any cracks, God forbid. All right, so this is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 45 to 50 minutes in a Bundt. Now, if you're doing it in a round 9-inch cake pan with, size like that, it'll probably take you about 35, 40 minutes. So I can't really give you time because it's actually based on that. The minimal time is 30 minutes. So don't open that oven for 30 minutes. After that, then check it and you'll gauge it from there. All right, let's go put it in the oven. The cake is out of the oven. It has been cooling 10 to 15 minutes and I'm gonna flip it out. So I have a cake board. You can use a plate and I'm just gonna take a flip, put it down. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Just gorgeous. All right, now I wanna show you how I like to serve this cake. Finally, our pound cake is ready to taste, and I just can't wait. Toasted pound cake with pear and vanilla ice cream. Delicious. Perfect with green tea. You take pound cake, you caramelize it in a little butter. There's nothing better than that. Please subscribe and like my channel. If you have any comments, leave them below and I'll get right back to you. You'll find all the information you need for this, as well as the KitchenAid mixer, in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.